Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mike, just in case you are new here. And we're about to go do some doctor's appointments. I've got oncology, colorectal surgeon, and blood work. So we'll see how all that goes. Hopefully it's not a terrible drive out there. And for the past 2 nights, I've been running low-grade fevers. So I don't know if I'm getting sick or if the hole in my stomach is a infection. Oh, cool. I was gonna just warm it up by the. Oh, it's a nice one.
Yeah.
That works. Thank you. Yeah, we gotta figure out if the hole in my abdomen has some kind of infection, which either means I'm being admitted back into the hospital, or I have to take antibiotics again. So we'll see. Hopefully everything goes well, but I gotta finish getting ready. Finally made it to the hospital, even though the parking is horrible. But Mom's back. She hasn't been here in
Months.
yeah. I mean, she's been around, but she hasn't taken me to an appointment because she got eye surgery, and that's a whole nother story. So now you got what, LASIK coming up?
Yeah. First cataract now. They did laser zapping, and now they're doing LASIK.
But no glasses.
No,
Even though you feel weird without glasses.
I know. I really want my glasses back.
So they said it was supposed to be a in and out, you're supposed to be good, ready to go, and it wasn't. So
Never is.
but we're currently waiting on the colorectal to see what their plan is for the hole in my stomach. Surprisingly, we got in here pretty quick, because the last time we ever did anything colorectal here, we were here for 4 hours, and we just left.
Yeah, we left that time.
So, like I said, I've been kind of running a fever the past couple days, but it's only been at night, which is weird. So we're gonna figure out if there's an infection or if I'm just getting sick. But I kind of feel crappy right now. But I've also been awake since 2:30 this morning. That's when my fever broke. And I woke up in a swimming pool of sweat, basically. So once they knock on that door and walk in, I'm not gonna record them because they probably don't want to be on video, but I'll start this back up and go from there, I guess.
I just wonder what this concept is on these floors.
I don't know, it messes with my OCD.
I have to get rid of some tiles, so let's just throw one in.
Yeah, it's just poorly placed here and there.
Stupid. It's not even in a line.
Well, these two are two squares apart. Those are 4 squares apart.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
How's it going?
Good. I hope you don't mind. I do record.
Yeah, that's okay, of course. Okay, cool. So, I was just looking through your notes. I know you were in the hospital recently. How have things been going since you got discharged?
I still have the hole.
Okay. You're packing it with the iodoform.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten to a point where it's getting to where I can't pack it anymore.
Okay.
But
Because it's closing up, or because it's
it's closing up.
Good. That's great.
Well, stuff's still coming out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I take a look and
A
see?
lot
Yeah.
of different colors too.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's
That's
gone
what I
from
saw. Yeah, let me see myself.
It's gone from because it was just clear fluid,
Yeah.
and then it went from a clear fluid with this pale, whatever gunk was coming out,
Sure.
to kind of a greenish fluid with green stuff coming out,
Mm.
to now this morning it was yellow with the yellowest gum coming out.
The
It's-
yellow makes me more concerned.
And he's been kind of running a low-grade fever too.
And none of it has smell.
Okay, that's a good sign,
Yeah.
but still, mind if I pull this down a bit?
Yeah, actually, if
Okay.
you don't have any more gauze like
I
this,
honestly wonder if there's just a fistula with, because this looks similar to the output here.
well, that's the thing. That's
We do
what
have
I
gauze,
thought.
Yeah, I'll clean it up. I actually want my boss to see the drainage though, so I don't want to clean it up.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah, that's
okay?
fine. Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave that there so when he comes in, I can show him. But yeah, it looks kind of. I wonder. I also saw that radiology was called, and they didn't want to drain it because they were worried your intestines were in the way.
Well, see, and that's the
Well,
thing. We
that's
never
what
got
we're wondering
anything
if
figured out
it
Gotcha.
is
connected to the
like
colon.
connected to
Right, that's why
a
what
colon.
a fistula. That's exactly what I'm wondering because if there's a connection, it would make sense that that's pouring into this.
Well,
because
the
of
biggest thing was it started under here.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
When
Got
he
it.
would clean that, he
Yeah.
could push, and it was coming
It's-
under.
yeah, I ended up
Boston.
getting cellulitis. That's
Got
what
That
started
Because
all
it's
of
started
this.
eroding all the
everything.
skin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible.
So-
And then that closed up,
yeah.
and that formed.
Because they did the ultrasound,
Okay.
and they're like, let's go ahead and wait. And then I got moved to, I actually got admitted into the hospital,
Yeah.
got my own room, and I went to go, I think, change this or whatever, and I looked, and a bubble had formed. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so I let my nurse know.
Yeah.
They were going to do the drink.
Yeah, the contrast
Yeah, the
and
contrast.
CT, totally. Mm-hmm.
So I did that. About 4 hours later, I actually did CT. But when one of the other doctors or nurses had come in, I went to tell them about the bubble.
Yeah.
It popped.
Got it.
That's where the hole came from.
Everywhere.
Okay.
And it was about that big.
Yeah.
And then it, you could push stuff out of it constantly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I, grunted my abdominal muscles,
It'll push out more.
well, it won't now.
Okay.
Um,
So how much output is coming out every day? How often are you having to change the dressing?
2, maybe 3 times.
2-3 times. Okay.
So not a lot, but I did
Yeah.
find out that if I have a drink of alcohol,
Yeah.
it like a faucet.
Is there any other foods or drinks that make it do that too?
It doesn't seem like it, no.
Hmm. Interesting. Does it kind of correlate with this output too? Like if that one's
Well, see-
increasing, then
Well, you were talking about how this is a similar color,
I'm wondering. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that would make sense.
but I've had this color,
yeah.
and this was clear. I've also had this brown or greenish.
Yeah. It's
Clear.
Yes, that's weird. Okay. Because I mean, sometimes these fistulas can form. It's actually pretty common when you have an old incision, and then there's intestine near it. It kind of adheres. You get adhesions after surgery, and then it kind of erodes over time, and then kind of creates a hole between the intestinal wall and the skin, which is what's called an enterocutaneous fistula, which can happen.
Could that cause massive bacteria to get into his system?
It can. A lot of people have the fistulas, and it's pretty much kind of like an ostomy. So it's as long as it's well taken care of with dressings and it's cleaned
He just
appropriately,
has a
So
you
there's,
just have another hole.
there's
Literally.
no fixing this.
So you can. So that's why I'm going to talk to my boss. Number one, I don't know for sure if that's what it is. That's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
what my
Okay.
immediate
Yeah.
guess is. But he's the colorectal
We'll
surgeon.
show
I
the
want him to
other
look.
fistulas,
These
the real
are just
ones.
old.
Oh sure, yeah.
That's just from what
The
happened
actual
from radiation.
cancer.
I gotcha.
Yeah, and I
sorry,
think
man.
that's actually the tumor,
Yeah.
because the tumor's sitting right here. But
Yeah.
that I'm not. I've dealt with that.
I gotcha.
Yeah, there's
Since
nothing to
20
do
to
about
21.
that.
But this is kind of the bothersome thing right now,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I'd like to get this fixed because
There's so much,
Yeah,
he's taking
I'm running
care
out
of
of room.
this, and
I
yeah.
agree, man. Yeah. Okay. But that's my initial thoughts. As for fixing it, becomes kind of a complicated issue because doing a surgery to fix that is can be a big surgery because it's an abdominal surgery and then
And there's no room.
there's no room. It could be a challenge. Before we even jump into the doing surgery thing, let me talk to my boss, have him come take a look and kind of evaluate as well. I don't want to just jump to that just yet. But I want to have him take a look. I don't want to poke around too much, but we could always just send it for some culture. I feel like they should have done that in the hospital.
Well, he did the first one.
actually, here I'm gonna have to.
I'll just look in the
Here.
chart and see.
Yeah, because it.
It was 2 different things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean that, and I guess if you could bring some more gauze and gauze
Yeah,
tape.
of course. We got plenty. I'll redress it once we take it down for sure.
Yeah, because our concern number one, due to the cancer, he is gradually losing weight.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten the labs back today, but running this 99, 100
Yeah, kind of like
fever.
real close to, yeah.
I mean,
Only at night.
only at night.
Okay.
So, but I don't know, you can't believe everything you look on the internet, and I'm not one of those people. I actually do
No,
the
good.
research of everything, but there was something that stated typically that could be cause for an infection because
Sure.
your body's immune system is more calm at night, so it's trying to overwork. So I was like, cool, if they need to put me on an antibiotic, let's do it.
Yeah.
So-
It can be tough. Fevers, when you have cancer, can happen with just having cancer.
Yeah.
But then, of course, yeah, I agree. Like, you are immunocompromised when you have cancer, and so having infections is much easier to have, right? So,
Plus, supposedly he has chemo Monday, so that's
Yeah.
the other. We're trying to figure out what's the
yeah,
antibiotics, skip chemo.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, if I have to skip chemo for antibiotics, that's fine. If I have to get it admitted to get this fixed, that's fine.
You just want it taken care of.
Yeah.
I want an answer, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the last time I was in the hospital, it was
Let's try all these things, but we still didn't tell you what we're doing and what's
Nothing.
going on.
Yeah.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I talked to the IR team,
Yeah.
and then they
Even
did the
after
scan.
the CAT scans and stuff, it's like,
They're like,
What
all
do
right,
we
cool. Pack it with this stuff
Yeah.
and go home.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, well, what is it? What caused it?
Yeah.
As they're like walking out of the room.
Yeah. IR won't tell you anything. Yeah.
'Cause
Honestly,
our first thought is it's coming out of
Yeah.
the colon or
I
the
think
intestine.
that's a pretty reasonable. I kind of agree with that. Yeah. Let me talk. Let me have my boss come in here too, because he's kind of the expert on this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give me a few minutes. I want to take a look at the scan with him, kind of go through everything, and then we'll come in here. Okay.
Okay.
Any
Sounds
other
good.
symptoms? I know you're having these kind of fevers overnight, but any chills, any
There's
vomiting? Nothing
No
like that?
vomiting.
Okay.
This has all been just in the past couple days, but the past week or so, everybody's been slowly getting sick
Yeah,
in the
they've
house.
had respiratory
So-
infections and stuff like that. So
The only other thing is, because it's been since beginning of November was when I was in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I would think if this was connected to the colon, which I know I can talk to the
Sure.
boss as well, if it was fecal matter, it would cause septic really quick.
Well, so that's the thing, right? Like, in theory, if it's fecal matter, if it's coming out of the body, that's great.
Mhm.
So this is actually kind of a good thing. If it was going into the abdomen, between, like, outside of the colon, but into the abdomen,
Yeah.
inside, that would be really concerning. So, like, if this, like, fluid and stuff was leaking into the abdomen, then it irritates the peritoneum. It causes
Yeah.
peritonitis, and then you're, like, really sick, and that's an emergency.
See,
So
and
this,
that's kind of
this
where
is kind of
we're
actually preventing
wondering.
it from, like, getting more concerning.
Okay.
Which would be, like, kind of my thought, which is probably why you're doing well. If this, like, drainage was, if there was a leak in the colon and it was just leaking out into the abdomen,
Mhm.
that's an emergency for sure.
because we didn't know how close we were on that part since it already had a port coming underneath the first ostomy and now it's coming out of a hole. How close is it to being so weak to start leaking into that?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't think it would kind of go to that. Usually what would have to happen is, like, because, like, this is kind of like an erosion injury of, like,
Yeah.
you have two, like, this is the abdominal wall, this is the colon wall, and they're stuck together.
Right.
And then over time it just creates a hole between them. But the usual thing is, if this is the colon wall, if there's, like, an opening here and it's leaking between these two, that's an
Yeah.
issue. And those kinds of leaks don't just happen on their own. It's usually from a traumatic injury, or, like, the colon gets super dilated and pops. Like, and it's
Yeah.
usually a sickness that leads to that, or a surgery, like, we can cut it by accident, like those kinds of things.
Okay.
But it's pretty rare for it to just kind of pop on its own, so I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Okay.
And usually these fistulas, they don't usually just kind of, like, kind of progress to that either. So it seems stable for the time being. Let's get some answers. Okay.
Sounds
That'd
good.
be great.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, I'll be right back. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Nice meeting you guys.
You too.
I'm back home. It's Saturday now. After we talked to the first doctor, he went and got his boss. I guess the head surgeon of colorectal, and immediately looked at the hole in my abdomen, saw that the output had similar color to the ostomy bag, and immediately was just like, yep, this is a fistula. Yeah, sorry, there's really nothing we can do. I was like, well, hang on, is there anything we can do at all? Can uh, we look at the scans? Can we do a new scan? Because the CT scan you're looking at was from like November 5th. It's December 13th now. Like, can we go ahead and actually do some more scans or an ultrasound or something to double check? Can we exhaust all options to make sure that your assumption is correct? Like, if that's what this is, then fine, so be it. I'll just have another thing that I'll have to deal with for the rest of my life. But if by some chance that's not what this is, and it's something that can be fixed, I would much rather do that. I'd rather exhaust every option I can to make sure that I'm getting the right treatment, the right health care, and I'm not just getting pushed aside. Long story short, we have a scan on the 31st. And when I get the scan, they're gonna double check everything. That haircut, that's not even my hair. It's way too long to be my hair. I barely have hair. What the hell? I got a CT scan on the 31st that is 1 to check the size of the tumor and 2 to check to see if it's a fistula or if something else is going on. And then we'll go from there. I will have an appointment with IR radiology or whatever it's called. They are talking about possibly putting a drain line in to see if possibly draining it completely is a possibility. So that's something else that'll be coming up soon. I was so upset when he just said that out of nowhere and was just like, yep, that's it, you're done. Sorry, you got a hole in your stomach that you're gonna have to change packing and put gauze on and all this other crap. Because one, not only do I have fistulas on one side from radiation that has eaten away my skin, I have one ostomy bag that doesn't do anything, but they can't remove it because it's too close to the tumor. I have a second ostomy that they had to give me because of that ostomy being so close to the tumor, it started being crimped. Now I have another hole that is just going to continuously spew stuff out. I was just so angry and upset at the fact that I just have to deal with this now. It's another thing that is hindering me. It's another thing that is screwing up my life. At what point do you just throw your hands up and go, fuck it, I don't care anymore? Like, it's one thing, turn the other cheek, or you keep fighting. Dude, it's irritating when it's just hit after hit after hit after hit. And then, well, in there talking to the doctors, I started feeling like crap. And unfortunately, Wednesday night and Thursday night, I'd run some low-grade fevers, like 99.1, 99.4. Well, I started feeling like crap while talking to the doctors yesterday. And after we left, I still kind of felt crappy. Like, it was cold outside. I got really, really cold in the hospital. For some reason, they didn't have the heaters on, and they just had the AC on full blast. So I was cold to the bone. But finally, we had stopped at this new barbecue place that we wanted to try. And we got home. I made a chopped beef sandwich. And I felt so horrible. Just downright, like, I don't feel good at all. I couldn't really eat the food. So I took my temperature. And it was 100.1. That's not good. So I took some ibuprofen to help break the fever, but I laid down, and this was at like 12:30 in the afternoon. I'd kind of fallen asleep here and there, woke up about 4:30 in the afternoon. I still felt really bad, but I didn't have that feeling of running a fever, but I decided to recheck it. It was 101.2. So I took 2 more ibuprofen and just tried to sleep. Tried to do anything and everything I could. About 9-10 o'clock maybe, it seemed like the fever broke and I felt better. And I feel better now. Like, I don't feel sick. I don't feel feverish. I didn't go back to sleep till about 6 or 7 this morning though, so I'm just body tired. I did get more antibiotics because I was running a fever. So that will probably won't be doing chemo this coming up Monday because of the antibiotics. But my oncologist is trying to find a day later in the week to where I can do chemo, because the silver lining we found yesterday was all my blood work came back really good, and my CEA had dropped 120 points. When I did my first round of chemo, when I did my first round of chemo, this new restart, my CEA was at like 220, 230. I did the chemo, did the blood work, and it went up to like 250. So I was like, crap. So we did the second round of chemo and then did blood work today, and it went from 250 something to 130, which is fantastic because it means that chemo's doing its job and we can stay on it and it's still working. So that is definitely the silver lining of yesterday. Silver lining of today is I don't feel like crap, and I hope it stays that way. I'm hoping that it was just some respiratory infection or some little bug, and I'm hoping it's not some kind of infection from the hole in my abdomen. But regardless, I have clindamycin and ciprofloxacin right here in front of me to take care of that and continue about my day. I'm in a bit better of a mood than I was yesterday after hearing all that. It sucks when you expect some kind of news and you get crappy news. On top of already being in a funk, in a depressed mood, and just blah. It doesn't help. I'm alright though. I'm doing okay. But I hope y'all are having a fantastic Saturday. I hope y'all have a great weekend. I'm not doing anything this weekend. I'm resting, sleeping, and eating as much as I can, and drinking plenty of water. You should drink water too. When was the last time you had water? Has it been a minute? Go get some water. It's okay. Love you. Go get hydrated. While you're going to get water, keep an eye out for them silver linings. And until the next video, I will see ya. Bye-bye.